Hello, people. It's me again, and I hope you guys are well since my last video or videos. If you're new, this channel has been all over the place. It's been mainly me venting about life's challenges and different things, but the trajectory for my channel, I do want to talk about life. I want to vlog some things, and I even want to do some motivational content. But this video is going to be very hard and very difficult in terms of what I will be talking about. If you love children, if you love babies, children, if you're like me who is very protective over teens, babies, children, whatever, this video is going to be very difficult to process. This video is perhaps the hardest video that I'm making. I've already tried to do this video like 2-3 times without crying, but I've cried within the last videos because of the content discussed. I should say that I'm a filmmaker myself, because I'm going to be talking about the sexualization of children in film. I'm a filmmaker myself. I'm not big or anything, but like I'm a Chicagoland filmmaker. I do small stuff. And it's been a journey for me. And film and cinema I'm very passionate about, but I would never ever put film or art, any form of art over another person's life. If I see something that is very sus or very suspicious or wrong, I'm instantly not going to support it, especially if it's putting children in danger. I've made some slides, so I have notes. In future videos I want to include notes, because in the past I've tend to like talked for a long time. In some of my other videos, like I can ramble, and I know that a friend or so told me that my videos tend to be long, but this one is going to be long. I will say that because there's just so much to talk about. There's a lot that I found. I might crash out or rant. I hope I don't crash out. The other video, I was very close to crashing out. I was just not in a good space. And I should say this video is being filmed around the time where the Epstein files situation, or where Epstein files are being released, and much of society's reacting to the Epstein files. And that has been draining as well for me. I had to fight a panic attack at work about a week ago or a few days ago. And then I had moments where I wanted to break down at work. And I think I had one day where all I wanted to do was just cry. And really shout out to the Epstein victims. I'm so proud of them. They're really doing their best to just continue to make their voices heard. I'm in the process of some updates for anyone that follows my film channel. I was going to make an announcement on my film channel concerning the Epstein files, and how what I want to do is to be more aware of films that as more and more names unfold, I no longer want to include any of these predators or these celebrities that are involved with Epstein, that were close and friendly with him. I do not want to ever support any of their work or content at my platform, especially as Hollywood is very, very silent right now considering the Epstein files. It's really pointing to something darker, that it's likely that their silence is pretty much evidence of them probably being complicit with a lot of what he did, and or just in support of him, or they were friendly with Epstein. I'm not saying all of Hollywood is was was affiliated with Epstein. I totally believe there are good, beautiful people down there in Hollywood. There are nice people that are there, but overall the culture and a lot of people, maybe many, maybe so many more than the nice ones, are not good. There's a reason why I'm saying that, because as the Epstein files are being uncovered, it's really revealing a lot of how the industry is. Like I really feel like I really feel like the ratio of good versus bad, I feel like 80% are probably bad down in Hollywood, and maybe 10 to 20, 80 to 90 probably are bad, 10 to 20 are probably good. And I say that because I've been looking at video recaps of what people have been finding in the Epstein files, and it's like so many people are involved with this person one way or another. And it's like, I almost want to say that he was probably somebody that was instrumental in helping this, this is a stretch to say, but helping Hollywood to really just be itself in a way, if that makes sense. But there's so much that I've been reading, there's so much that I've been watching. I know I need to take a break. I actually stopped going deeper into the Epstein files, but because it was getting too much for me, my mental health. But it's revealing a lot of who's who. And so also I want to say real quick that it's as incredible as this whole thing is, with things coming to light and people finally paying attention, and the sexualization and the overall harm. Oh yeah, the sexualization of children is a major problem with society, finally. And there's a reason why I'm saying finally. There's also a dark side to all of this, because with the films that I'm going to talk about, a lot of these films went on to win major awards. It went on to win or be nominated for some major awards. And they were very public to society or societies. But few people have ever spoken out against these films over time, and even throughout cinema history, because there's some films that I'm going to talk about that were filmed in like the 1970s, and people really have not said anything about the sexualization of children in these films. And so as much as we want to get mad at the corrupt leadership behind or affiliated with the Epstein files, at the end of the day, we have ourselves to blame, because a lot of us have ourselves to blame, because we saw this stuff on TV live, we've seen this stuff on TV, and some of our favorite TV shows have made the sexualization of children a thing. But few of y'all, very little of you won't say or do anything. Very little of you. Many of you won't say or do anything. And let me play something a girl said that really rang true. And this is off of TikTok, because TikTok, I've been finding a lot of treasure with people just really speaking out. I want to say the real ones out of all of this, out of everybody getting mad, are the ones that's clocked a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about from the beginning. They were the ones that were probably the few voices that said, I don't sit well with this movie, I don't like this movie sus with me, this TV show sus. But anyway, and I know that sounds bad, but it's true, guys. I mean, this stuff was being paraded in our faces, and we didn't do anything then, but suddenly now the sexualization of children through the Epstein files is making people mad. But it's like, but that's the Epstein files. There are a lot of people just like him out there, and they still have their careers. They have not been called out. So we have a long way to go. So let me go to the one girl that was I'm looking for her, because I really liked what she had to say, because it was true. And she's talking about the Grammy Awards. So, and I'm not going to watch the Academy Awards. I'm not. There was one movie that I wanted to go to see, which was Hamnet. Um, and I don't know how the director is. You know, I don't know. I'm at a point where it's like going to class and acting like, right. I saw something on Twitter, Instagram that I agreed with. But sorry, guys, please be patient with me. I am just looking for this video. Right. And a lot of the people were saying things that were, I like how people are giving conspiracy theorists their acclaim or credit for the stuff that was in the Epstein files. The thing is, they've been saying this stuff for years, but nobody listened to them. And now people are suddenly paying attention to them. And it's like, but see, we have a long way to go. But I'm going to play what this girl said, okay? Because she's right. She's right.
I said it once and I'm going to say it again. Nobody cares about those victims. Everybody that sat up here and watched those Grammys tonight absolutely proves it. A lot of those celebrities that got awards tonight, whether they was on stage or whether they was in the audience, was on those fucking Epstein files. And the fact that many of you still watched and supported it says a whole lot. Like I said before, y'all never gave a fuck about the goddamn victims. Y'all just cared whether or not Trump name was in there, and y'all just need to think pieces and gossip to fucking talk about. Let's be clear. There was so much heinous and satanic and dark shit that was in those files. And for us to wake up the next day and the day after the day and still support these people is absolutely fucking diabolical to me. We are the ones who actually hold the power, but yet for some reason, y'all just keep giving it to them, keep giving it to them. Y'all don't want to believe that Jay-Z was in the files because y'all can't fathom Beyonce no longer being your fucking queen, right? You can't imagine Pusha T being in the files because him and his brother just dropped a dope ass album. A lot of y'all need to fucking stop being delusional and come to fucking reality that this shit is deeper than we can think, imagine, or fathom. And I've said this before.
Everything that she said was so true, and it is so true. I feel just like I feel I feel like I'm crazy when I try to talk about this. Speaking of which, I've been posting stuff dealing with the Epstein files in Hollywood on my social media, and like it's very little, but I've lost 4 followers since posting that. And so it just tells you something that it's like, I don't think people really, like a lot of people do care, but I don't think people really care like that, especially when it comes to Hollywood and celebrities, because people are still attached and in love with their favorite celebrities. But, you know, when we try to say stuff about it, y'all want to come after us and make us look like the bad guys. And now the Epstein files are news and suddenly you care. And we've been saying it for years. So this is me considering what I'm going to show you and talk about when it comes to the films that I found that went on to win major awards and have so many people supporting these films, okay? So many people love these films. And it made me realize something. So there's this French actress, and her name is Adele Hanel, okay? And she was up for the Caesar Award like 1 year. I think she's been nominated twice or once, I forget. Sorry for my Adele Hanel fans, and even to her. By the way, she's a real superhero. She quit her entire film career because she believes that the film industry is very good at protecting predators. And when I found a film today that made me realize how true this really is, because there's a big film platform that was showcasing this film, and they were even saying very sus things surrounding this film and the child involved, but doing little to call out just the scenario of the child being involved in, well, heavily sexualized situations. So when Roman Polanski won a Caesar Award 1 year, she walked out. She didn't sit to stay and celebrate. She literally walked out, and I will include that video. In fact, let's see if I can go to it. Yeah, and she walks in the hallway and she literally says, bravo pedophile in French. you know, and she even says shame. And for me, I wanted to be there with her. And I thought to myself, how come you and very few actresses, because there was others that had walked out later that night or with her that hour or so. But I'm like, how come you and very few were able to walk out, but Hollywood, they started a petition for this man to keep his career. And so many Hollywood individuals ended up working with him despite what he did being very public. He assaulted or sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl in the 1970s, and he fled to France to maintain his film career, or his career as a film director. And he went on to win several awards, many awards. So she's right. So I'm going to go to it. Walks out of Caesar Awards. And there she is. She is so amazing.
2 pizzas and 2 sides for $19.99. Domino's perfect combos.
This I just feel so tired. Like the way my body feels, my chest feels, I feel heavy. But there she is. I would have walked out with her. Heck, I am walking out in a way. I'll explain it a little bit. But they're showing her, and I will include this video link in this video, the bio for this video. She's so cool. Like, she's just walking and saying bravo pedophile in front of everybody. Like, there you go, bravo to the pedophile. There's another amazing lady walking out with her. I think that's the director. Oh my gosh. I feel like that right now with just myself as a filmmaker. Like, I'm at a point where I'm facing my own film existential crisis as well, because it's like, where do I go from here? As a kid, I always looked up to Hollywood as the ultimate win, and I wanted to be this like maybe big time director because I'm very passionate about directing and making films. But I'm at a point now where it's like I feel very betrayed by Hollywood, just from what I'm seeing and over the years. And then even just with the film industry itself, the film industries itself, with just how complicit they've been with allowing these films to make it big, despite sexualizing children. And so let's get into it. I'm going to put on my glasses. I wear glasses in person, so when you're with me, I'm wearing glasses. But for my videos, I like to take off my glasses because, you know, I don't know. I wish I had 20/20 like eyesight and stuff, so, or vision. So I wrote Hollywood is Evil, Extensive Reasons Why. Okay. Also, shout out to the major celebrities that have been trying to call out Hollywood throughout. There's many. Like, I was watching Cat Williams just now. I love him. He's so brave. I love how Terrence Howard was even calling out the stuff that he's been through in Hollywood. There's a video of him. I'm going to include all of them. I know that Corey Feldman has tried to tell us there's all these predators in the film industry. And he was right, especially with me finding these movies. And so there's all kinds of people that have done a good job with just trying to tell you that Hollywood is bad. Oh, and then I talked about these two. I talked about Tom Holland and Zendaya. I have a very unique story to tell you with this for anyone that is open to hearing this. So I believe in all kinds. Well, I'm Christian, I'm faith-based. I'm not a Christian that is affiliated with politics. I hate mixing the two up. I love Latinos. So with me saying that, you know exactly where I stand with this whole thing. So I will go to, okay, so I was saying I'm going to Spider-Man. I'm going to Spider-Man, Tom Holland. I feel like when I said that, it looked so weird. So let me say that calmly. I'm going to Tom Holland, Spider-Man. So, I'm going to him because there's something that I want to read from the comment section that made me realize, and he reminds me of the other people that have, like I mentioned, Terrence Howard, and there was, who else? I think it was one of the Bailey sisters. Chloe was trying to talk about the industry, the music industry. Anyway, so I wanted to say something interesting with him. I have a friend who we haven't spoken in a bit. I do need to get in contact with him because it's been a while. But I have a friend who's very spiritual about things, okay? And he's faith-based, but he's very spiritual about things. And, well, he's aware of Tom Holland as an actor. And so, because he's like, oh, yeah, Spider-Man, you know? And I was like, yeah, but... And then I think one day, I think I was showing him the picture of him, of Tom, because I think we were talking about him or Spider-Man or whatever. And then he said something very interesting. My friend, now we know that Tom years ago made a video about how he does not like Hollywood, right? And me and my friend talking, this was a couple years after him talking to Jay Shetty. That was the Jay Shetty interview that he did. And I remember my friend looked at a picture of Tom, and he seriously was like, he was serious, and he said, this guy, he's trying to leave because he could feel, you know, I guess his energy. But he literally told me, he says, he's seen stuff, he's seen things, he's literally trying to leave. I see a divide in him, and he's trying to leave. And I'm like, and by the way, my friend, like I said, didn't know Tom like that. He knew him as this Spider-Man, but not like that. And wasn't a follower like that, if I'm trying to say, or I'm trying to say. And then a part of me was like, and the thing is, my friend had not seen the video that Tom made about him saying, I don't like Hollywood. So my friend, he could just feel spiritually like something's going on. This guy is trying to leave. He's seen some dark things. And so, oh my gosh, it's 8:44 that I'm saying this. I react like that because all I've been seeing is 44, the number 44 here and there. I actually have a receipt somewhere where it's literally 44, 44, 44, 44 on that same receipt. Like the number of my meal was 44. The price was 44. The tag number, like the receipts, I can't really describe it, but it's like it had weird coding or whatever for a link. So a link number to win awards or whatever on the receipt, it had 44. So it's funny that I'm saying that at 8:44. It's 8:44 now. So I mention him because there's a reason why I mention Tom, because we've seen this with other celebrities, okay? We've seen this when they start speaking out. We notice how they're not in so many films, and they really are not seen in award shows, and like they're not like, what is this? They're not, you don't see them. What am I trying to say? Sorry, I got distracted for a little bit. So, because I've seen comments on like, oh, you know, what is he gonna do next, and what da, 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 da. And the thing is that, like, I love Rose McGowan. Rose McGowan is a great example as well. How she called out Hollywood for real. And do we see her in films? Do we see her in the next upcoming thing? No. So kind of think about why he's not in many major films. It's because he probably knows how the game is. So let's go to that interview that he did.
Like Hollywood.
So anyway,
I really do not like Hollywood. It is not for me. The business really scares me. I understand that I'm a part of that business and I enjoy my kind of interactions with it. But that said, I am always looking for ways to kind of remove myself from it, to kind of just live as normal a life as possible. Today, doing this is a very rare thing for me to do. Yeah, I definitely think it has been an ongoing thought, which is don't lose yourself. I've seen so many people come before me and lose themselves, and I've had friends that I've grown up with that aren't friends of mine anymore because they've lost themselves to this business. And I just am really, really keen to focus on what makes me happy, which is my family, it's my friends, it's my carpentry, my golf, the charity that my mum runs. Like, that is the stuff that makes me really happy, and that's the stuff that I should protect. My relationship is the thing that I keep most sacred. I don't talk about it. I try my best to keep it as private as possible. We both feel very strongly that that is the healthiest way for us to move on as a couple. So I do try to keep as removed from it as possible. Like, you'll never see me at an award show that I don't have to be at. I'm never going to a red carpet event that I'm not in the film of, you know? I don't want the attention when I don't need it. I really do not like Hollywood.
I don't know, as he was saying all of that, there's a couple photos that have come out of the Epstein files, and I feel so terrified because of some of what I've seen. And some of these photos feature some very big people from Hollywood and the industry. And the one that I can't erase from my mind is the one where it's like, I'm not saying that he's seen anything like that. I really hope and pray not. If he has, then we know that he's possibly traumatized and he's done a good job hiding it. But like, it was the one where, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get very graphic, and the stuff that I discuss, it's very, very dark and very evil. It's the one where it looks like they're eating someone, like literally it's like they're eating somebody. And a lot of me was trying to make excuses for this photo. It's a real photo, it's in the files, but I think they've redacted the files. But it looks like, and I will say this, you can take it with a grain of salt. I was trying to make excuses for whatever that was on the dinner table that they were at, you know, or was there, right? And I will say this, there was a course that I was taking in the musculoskeletal system, for the musculoskeletal system, sorry. And one section of the course covers cadavers, which are, you know, deceased bodies. I believe they're called cadavers. I don't really remember details of this course. I was taking this course because I wanted it to enhance my terminology and my experience with being a personal trainer. So there's a course I'm taking in personal training. I'm so behind in that. But I wanted this musculoskeletal course to help me to understand muscles very closely. So there is a section where they are discussing cadavers and the muscles, you know, within that stage, okay? So I said to myself, even though I was trying to be like, okay, it's probably props, it's probably not a real person, but a part of me was like, but I've seen one through the course. They actually show pictures of deceased people. I've actually seen a deceased person in real life. I'm a caregiver. I did do a hospice shift. I did see somebody dead, okay, or deceased, to be polite. And the photo of that thing, it really looks like very close to what a cadaver or a deceased body looks like. So you can take that with a grain of salt. So for me saying that, I don't know. I'm still shaken by that. Like, a part of me is numb from seeing that photo. But yeah, and another thing is, when he was saying all of that, there's these photos, more photos of Epstein with big people doing weird ritual stuff. And it's in the files. It's public. Everybody's seeing this stuff and reacting in the right way. So next time, before you attack him and other celebrities that call out Hollywood and why they're not in a big film, just remember these files, okay? Remember Cat Williams, too. Remember Cat Williams. Remember Terrence Howard as well. So, yeah. And then I did say in my other video, I guess my hope and prayer is that he hasn't been assaulted. That's the thing. There's this model right now. I think his name is Barrett. I'll come back to Tom in a little bit, or I can go to Barrett. Barrett is a model, and he's there. I found his YouTube channel, or so. It says a message from a male survivor of Epstein Island, and he talked about how the things that he went through on the Epstein Island. And so what I hope has not happened to Tom and other good male actors down there is that I hope he has not been assaulted. It's probably possible that he probably was. I don't know. Because I think about these things deeply, and for him to say stuff like that, he probably did go through some things that he's not allowed to talk about. And so let's really get into it. But also for his girl, so I've spoken about them before, Zendaya. I really hope Zendaya is okay. I will say this: I'm at a point now where I do not want to support Euphoria anymore. Because I know that it really did not sit right with me when I first got into the series, when they were really sexualizing the teenagers. It never has sat right with me. But I gave bits of season 2 a chance. But now I'm at a point where it's like I don't want to give it any more chances, because what was featured on there was really, really it was wrong, and I just have that to say. And it's like what the girl, and then another thing too is House of the Dragon. Remember what I said about how the girl was talking about the Grammys and she said it was never about the victims, y'all really don't care. I'm discussing some of your favorite shows right now, and it's likely that you're going to get really mad at me because these are your favorite TV shows. And how could you? Yes, I adore House of the Dragon, guys. I really do. The cast there is, they're insanely talented. But there's been moments where I've had to sit down and say that I'm really disgusted by Over. And some of those moments were, well, Rhaenyra's character being targeted by an adult, and she's a teenager, and her uncle. And so that guy coming after her is her uncle, and he's an adult, and he's a teenager. And how the show really romanticized that. I don't know if the books do, but the show went ahead and they romanticized it. And there's nothing amazing about that, guys. Even though they show Rhaenyra years later and she's older, whatever, but it's like there's nothing wonderful about that. Like, in reality, that's horrific. And you guys that are getting so upset of the children and the teenagers, it's like, well, there you go. There's proof of this stuff in the TV shows. They've been doing it publicly before us for years, but we just sit there and we just take it in and we don't say anything until it's too late, until we get to a year like this with the Epstein files being made public. By the way, Epstein and Hollywood, parts of Hollywood that have been with him, not all of Hollywood, it was very easy for them to get away with their evil with teenagers and children, because I'm pretty sure they knew that society was just sitting there and not doing anything and not saying anything, despite this stuff being public. So I'm asking you guys, like, stop just sitting there when you see a kid, an adult coming after a child, when you see the sexualization of teenagers in a TV show. Stop sitting there. Stop accepting it, because This is why so many victims can't come forward, because, well, they recognize that people are not going to say anything. People are going to just sit down and accept this stuff, or like they don't want to do anything. So, you know, Zendaya is so beautiful, and like I'm looking at her, she's drop dead beautiful, always have been gorgeous. I also like that in Euphoria, she was the one character that rarely did any nudity, and I remember feeling relieved seeing that. I was like, oh my gosh, they didn't get to her. Everybody else they got to, but they didn't get to her. You know, she's safe, you know. But for me, it was always this nervous countdown to like, okay, one episode they're gonna do it, they're gonna make her be naked and do crazy stuff, they're gonna make her do it. But like, it was a relief, because every time I think it's coming, it didn't, and I'm like, oh my god, oh, thank God. So anyway, let's go to, yeah, and they're so beautiful, the two of them, they're so beautiful. Let me go to my notes. Okay, we need to go to the notes. So I said this video is very long. Okay, it is long, and there's reasons. And this is the part of the video where it's gonna get really dark, and it's gonna get very disturbing because of the graphic details that will be mentioned, featuring children and child actors. Oftentimes with adults. I'm kind of bracing up myself because I hate this part. I really feel scared because I've tried without trying to cry, and I'm gonna try not cry for this part of the video. So please, if you can't handle stuff like this, I would say stop watching the video, because the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is really, really disturbing and very, very graphic. So let's really just get into it. In my notes, I did talk about Bjork's case working with a top director in the film industry, and how she went through hell on a set with this top director, and pretty much was just attacked through the media, called difficult. But I'm gonna go to Chloe Moretz, okay? Now this is mild. It isn't, you know, graphic or severe in terms of what I'm going to discuss. This is more mild, but it'll give you pretty much a blueprint, pretty much kind of the blueprint thinking of this industry, okay? So Chloe Grace Moritz says she was warned about being too outspoken. Okay, I'm going to skip for a little bit. There we go. Oh, never mind. Chloe Grace Moritz has said she was warned she could lose her job because she was too outspoken about negative behavior within the industry. The Hollywood star has previously talked about being body shamed by an identified male co-star, and another time when, at the age of 16, she considered getting breast enhancement surgery when a bra with silicone inserts was left in her trailer. She said that before the Me Too movement, she was told she should not call out such behavior and that she should be more buttoned up. Moritz, 22, told The Guardian, "Now everyone says it's cool to be woke. When I was doing it before, people were like, you're crazy, you're going to lose your career over this. You're so outspoken." I relate to her with this, especially with not acting, but in terms of speaking out against these films that I'm going to be talking about, and getting attacked by a lot of people to just because they love these films. I've been called a Puritan. I watched other people get called Puritans. Just so much attack that came my way as a result of me saying this is wrong, right? And so, and then because it's news, now everybody's gonna listen, right? And that's the thing. It's like, prior to the Epstein files and the baby stuff, the child sexualization, and like what my girl said in the video, it's like, you guys really did not care. You guys did not care, because it's like, when it's news, suddenly so many people do care. But when it's not news, no, nobody cares. And that's what she went through. because before the Me Too movement, she was being told to be quiet. And then suddenly now it's cool to just be like, well, it happened to me too. But I wouldn't be surprised if you had so many women in that industry at the time that she was trying to speak out, who were quiet and judging her and looking at her and thinking, oh my gosh. And then when the Me Too movement came out, they were like, oh, I'm going to eat this up. Oh my gosh, it happened to me. Like and it's like, well, she was trying to do something about it, but you didn't bother to help her. You left her in the dark. So, referring to other unreported instances of negative behavior, she said that everyone, truly everyone, was calling my publicist, calling my manager, and my agent, being like, Chloe should not speak so much. She needs to keep it more buttoned up. She said that it was studio staff and producers who would give such warnings, but it was not necessarily just men. Sometimes both genders, which is even crazier and kind of sad. She said, a broad spectrum of different people were like, is this what she wants to be? Does she want to be the outspoken girl? And it's like, well, yeah, respectfully, F that. Look at that. So that's what she went through. And then here's another thing she went through. She said, my brother was never not with me. There were instances like where I was invited to a private poker night, which is weird, at a man's house when I was 15 years old. This is in the industry. It was always, if there's not a +1 for Trevor, then Chloe's not going. And then it was like, oh, it's really just a one admission only thing. And I've heard stories like this going down in the industry. Jodie Foster went through something too, where she was invited to a man's house. The whole thing with Roman Polanski, same thing. I think he was taking photos of the girl, the 13-year-old girl, something, and then he ended up assaulting her and she was alone and all of that. So do you see? And then with Shirley Temple, a major star who we're going to get into next. Okay, so that was Chloe's experience. Let's go to Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple exposes Hollywood. Okay. All right. So Miss Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple was a very, very big 1930s actress from what I remember reading. And I remember reading that, AI is not working on my iPad, so I'm going to go to, do I have ChatGPT on this one? So to really just move along, Shirley Temple was talked about how the things that she had gone through as a child in the industry, because she was a child star. She was a very big, prominent child actress in the 1930s. I'm typing it on my phone. I want to make sure that AI is working on my phone. Shirley Temple exposes. There's that whole thing that happened to Megan Fox too, for a major movie where she appeared as she was 15 years old, and they made her do like a sexy thing for this movie. Sorry, I'm glitching. Okay. So in her 1988 autobiography, Child Star, and subsequent interviews, Shirley Temple exposed the harsh, exploitive, and sometimes dangerous realities of 1930s and 40s Hollywood, revealing a dark side to her America's sweetheart image. Okay, abuse by studio executives. Temple recounted a disturbing incident at age 12 when she met with MGM producer Arthur Freed. Upon her arrival, Freed allegedly exposed his genitals to her. When she responded with nervous laughter rather than terror, he became enraged and kicked her out of his office. And also, I believe that this guy, he had Shirley come in alone, and her mom come in alone. So he separated them. So, and it turns out, she says that he did the same. He was trying to come onto the mom too. Like he was, anyway. Physical punishment. The icebox. Temple disclosed that she and other young child actors were sometimes punished for being disobedient or for not acting fast enough. They were placed in a black box, a soundproof, cold, and dark box on set as a way to cool them off. Exploitive working conditions. There goes the one. Despite being a major star, she faced intense pressure, including 14-hour workdays and, in her early days, baby burlesques, where child actors were placed in inappropriate scenarios, and isolation from parents. Okay, she revealed that during her early work, mothers were often not allowed on set, leaving the children in the care of the studio. And that was something that was happening to Chloe. And I've heard it's happened to other stars too, where they try to separate you from your parents. So anyway, the baby burlesque thing is so disturbing. They made her appear, see, baby burlesque. Oh Lord. Men who directed this. So Charles Lamont and Ray Nazaro. Ugh. I assume they're not alive, so may they burn it. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna be a lot better than that. But I mean, if you make any child do things like that, I don't feel bad for you. So I'm looking up the facts for baby burlesque. It is very, very disturbing. They made her do this. And she was when you look at her, this is like a little baby walking around, like toddler. Like, it's so awful to think about. I'm waiting for Yaya to... Okay, there we go. The baby burlesques were a series of 8 short films featuring toddlers, most notably a 3 to 5-year-old Shirley Temple, acting out scenes intended for adults, often with dark, sexualized, and exploitive undertones. Shirley Temple herself later described them as the cynical exploitation of our childish innocence. She's a real one. I like that, because something that I found that with the films I'm going to talk about, so many child stars, few, have done very little to call out that they were sexualized. There's one movie that the lead actress, you have some that say they enjoyed working on the film or they loved it, and it's like, girl, you were sexualized to the nines as a kid. How? No. If it was your daughter, if it was your children, would you still enjoy it? Would you still champion it? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't want your children to do it. So why are you saying that it's okay? And I'm saying this because they have literally said things like that. Like, I enjoyed doing it and it's okay. It was just art. So, there we go. The films often cast toddlers as adults in sexual situations. Shirley Temple played characters dubbed prostitutes in several shorts, including Politics in Washington and War Babies. She wore revealing outfits, danced seductively, and traded kisses for lollipops. Oh, racist and offensive themes. The films often contained overly racist themes. In Kid in Africa, black children were cast as savages and directed to be shot with arrows by white children. Just all kinds of evil stuff in this series. When Shirley Temple dismissal of abuse complaints, I'm reading more. When Shirley Temple attempted to tell her mother about the harsh treatment and the black box, her mother dismissed the claims, believing the director's narrative that the children were making it up. Oh my gosh. They used to... I'm going to read that again. Her mother dismissed the claims, believing the director's narrative that the children were making it up. So they were saying things like they're making it up. They're not. For anyone that wants their children to be in film and entertainment, after reading that and really thinking about Chloe's experience and others, please don't, especially like if your child That's really heartbreaking to me. Like, her baby came to her, Shirley is the baby, the mom. Her baby came to her and told her what they were doing to her. I want to be a mom one day. Like, I dream of children. I love babies. I've worked with babies. I've worked with kids here and there throughout my life. And I adore babies and children. That's why I'm making this video. But like, if my baby is coming to me and saying, mommy, they're doing this bad stuff to me, you know, like, I'm listening to my baby. And the thing is, I've thought about this too. Like, if anything terrible happened to my child, like on a film set, I would make a scene. You wouldn't want me on that set. I'd make a whole scene. I'd want to throw a chair at you. I'd want to break a bottle over your head. I don't be playing about kids and babies. And especially if I had my babies with me. So I'm that type of person. I love children. I love babies. I dream about being a mom, although I have a lot of work to do. And I really want to stay focused on my mental health. But I'm really going to make a scene. If that ever happened to, like, and some of the stuff that I've read with teen actors, what's happened to them, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about myself like that. Like, just would have told my daughter, your mom, I'm finna go to jail for you. Like, don't, please, babe. Like, I don't know. We probably need to call the cops. Not for me, you know, like that mean, call the cops, but not for me. We probably need to call the police. Because I think I'm about to do something really bad. And it's a film set, so, you know. But anyway, to be back on the serious side. So, I read to you about Shirley Temple. So that was mild. And so now we're going to get into the graphic stuff, okay? So right into it. I'm reading from the Bob Saget roast involving the Olsen twins. And in fact, I'm not going to read to you. I'm just going to play you what they said. So I'm going to go to TikTok here. Somebody put together a video. Pretty much at this Bob Saget roast, he's now gone. He passed away years ago, whatever. But they were saying very weird, disgusting things about the Olsen twins as kids. So, and this is what I mean by they did it openly in your face and y'all laughed. So, it's like you're mad that babies were being sexualized in the Epstein files. Well, where were you when they were doing this? Where were you? So, whoa. Oh, this is getting real. This is getting real. The guy that's talking, the first actor, I forget his name, this guy, they're saying that he was on the Epstein's flight log. This is getting very real. So let me play this for you, okay?
Not true that Bob Saget raped and killed a girl in 1990. How do you make an ass hurt? The Olsen twins say, well, Bob Saget hands you a chocolate milk that he just made, and you wake up 3 hours later, lying on your stomach. What a tough gig that must have been, huh?
This is John Stamos. A lot of people's favorite celebrity.
Entire job consisted of saying, take a look at this, which is what he used to say to Mary-Kate Olsen in her dressing room. I love him like a perverted uncle who pays for lunch and then follows
This is another guy.
me into the men's room. Now should have been called Blackjack because he hit on the Olsens when they were 8. He didn't stop till they were 21. Is it true that you used to give Mary Kate acting lessons? You tell her, act like this never happened. Bob Saget is a sick bastard. He has 2 daughters in college and 3 girlfriends in high school. Most comics dream of performing in Las Vegas, Nevada. Bob Saget dreams of performing in Hannah, Montana. Bob has done a lot for this country. For 8 seasons, half an hour a week, Full House, kept pedophiles off the street.
That guy, I think the one talking, I forget his name. What's his name? The comedian that got in trouble for sexual allegations. Oh, I realized something. They're not saying, I said that the first guy talking was on the Epstein Island. I think they're saying that Bob Saget was on the Epstein's flight log. So I'm gonna look into this because it makes sense. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's saying Epstein Association list. Bob Saget was among hundreds of names mentioned in connection with Jeffrey Epstein, as reported in studies analyzing individuals who visit or enter. This is what I'm saying. And the thing is, the person who posted this, they said that he was in the flight log. Oh my gosh. So, fans can get mad, supporters can get, SAG can get mad, but it's like you just heard everything they said about the Olsen twins right there and then as kids. And people are there laughing. And so now, and I don't mean to sound like this, but it makes me mad. But it's like now you're mad that there's all these files coming out with these kids being sexualized and even other horrific things happening to them. And he was in association with Epstein. So, and by the way, nobody did or said anything during this time. People laughed. Comedy Central made this a thing. They didn't bother to do anything about it. So, okay. There's Milena. There's a movie called Milena, okay? And it's starring Monica Bellucci. I really admired Monica Bellucci for a while. But now I'm at a point where it's like I'm just disappointed with her because of this movie. She seems very nice in interviews and everything, but this movie, and then she also signed the Roman Polanski petition. So, for the petition for him to keep his career, and since hasn't expressed regret. The only real one that has ever expressed regret for that is Natalie Portman. I think Emma Thompson too, but Natalie Portman was pretty vocal about saying it was a mistake. And another thing I noticed about Natalie Portman is she's the one that's been calling out predators in the industry, because something like that was happening to her as a child and as a teen. So she was aware of that and she talked about it. And so Milena, May 2000. So what I'm going to do is read the parental guide, the parental guide from these films, and this part, these films, or the contents are the sexual explicit details within the films. So this is where it's going to get really graphic and terrible. So I'm going to get right into it. Milena. So Milena was made in 2000, and it stars Monica Bellucci, and it was produced or marketed, either one, by Harvey Weinstein's company at the time. It is nominated for several awards. I think a Golden Globe, an Academy Award for Best Foreign Film. Let's go to it. I'm beginning to feel so angry. I feel like anyone that comes after me with whatever I say, I'm ready for a smoke too. Like, there's a guy that I follow on Instagram. He has a massive following, and he's talking about the stuff he's found in the Epstein files, and he writes in his comments, he says, I'm ready for all the smoke. Like, I'm ready for y'all. If you're gonna come after me for what I'm posting, you're gonna get mad, I'm ready. And I feel the exact same way. It's like, I'm ready to fight somebody. Like, I'm not joking. Like, I think I got mad at a friend too, because online, because he was saying, stay out of that, you know, whatever. And I'm like, don't you tell me to stay out of that. It's involving kids. I am not staying out of that. No. So anything that involves the harm of children and innocence, you know, innocent beings, that's when I get really fiery and angry. And so this movie, Milena, was nominated for several awards, has 7 wins, 21 nominations, 2 Academy Award nominations, 1 BAFTA nomination, 2 Golden Globe nominations, okay? So let's read the explicit details that went into the making of this film involving a child. So Giuseppe Salfaro stated in Giuseppe at the time, I'll read this, okay? So, although Ronaldo's 12 years old in the film, Giuseppe Salfaro was 15 years old when the film was in production, and he's 3 years older than his on-screen character. So, following that, Giuseppe Salfaro stated in an interview that he had never seen a live naked woman and that Monica Bellucci was the first. Giuseppe Salfaro was actually naked in the sex scene between Renato and Lupita, the prostitute, and no body double was used. I'll read that again. Giuseppe Salfaro was actually naked in the sex scene between Renato and Lupita, the prostitute, and no body double was used. This is where it gets really, really dark, okay? Exclusive to the European version, a kid is hugging a naked woman during a dream with his face inches away from her visible pubic hair. I got all this from IMDb, by the way. This is quoted from IMDb. Her breasts are visible in this scene too. Exclusive to the European version, a naked woman is on top of a young boy, kissing and licking his bare chest. As the woman makes her way downwards, the scene is zoomed in on the boy's face, but we can hear the woman performing fellatio on him. I'm just really reading you this stuff. You have to know what's in these films. You have to know what's in these films, what was allowed to be implied involving a child. So you know how serious this is. So there we go. Exclusive to the European version, a far shot in which a woman takes off the underwear of a boy, causing his semi-erect P word to flip up, seen only very briefly before he covers it with his hand. Okay, a woman removes her garters, undergarments, and pearl necklace in preparation to have sex with a boy. All this is done slowly to titillate her younger partner. Her exposed breasts are visible. This is Milena, and you are going to see all of this displayed and shown in the movie. I'm not joking. I think I tried to watch it a few years ago. I was trying to watch a clip, and it was the scene where Renato is with a naked Monica Bellucci. I got out. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I literally just changed. I was like, this is scaring me. I need to go. But then, like, this movie has millions of people that love it, and it was nominated for major awards. And so now we're here with the Epstein list, and it's like, when this movie was made, where were you? You're gonna hear me repeat that like a parrot. When this movie was made, where were you at? No, if you really did care about these kids, you would have clocked this a long time ago in your favorite films. So I know I said that I would try and not crash out in this video, but I am crashing out. And I feel what that woman said in the Grammy video. I really, really do. It's like, you guys, you don't really care like that. The reason why many people do care right now is because it's news. But when it was paraded in front of you, you did nothing. You were right behind these films. I've gotten in trouble online for calling these films out. People cursing at me, people yelling at me or whatever. I got called a Puritan. Let me go to another movie that I need to get it out of the way. It made me lose hope in humanity a little bit tonight. But I remember Criterion did their own little intro of this movie, and the one guy, and I'm gonna feature it in my bio where you can watch him talk about this movie with acclaim and all. And he says very suspicious things. He says, I don't know whether it's a soft porn. At one point he says that. And the whole time I'm like, the lead actress is a 13-year-old. And you're saying this right now? So anyway, the movie's called Valerie and Her Week of Wonders, and it was made in the 1970s. Now, let me tell you, this movie has a lot of supporters behind it. There are people that adored this movie, that loved this movie. I'm not even joking. I spent time tonight looking for at least one or two people to come forward and say that this movie is weird because it features a 13-year-old. Probably found like 2 or 3 people among hundreds of people saying that this is one of the best movies that they've ever watched, and so and so. And oh my gosh, the IMDb reviews, nobody calling out the disturbing stuff. And I couldn't sit through the trailer. Every time I look at this movie, I get a very dark vibe coming from this movie, not because it's a horror movie, but I know because of what went down featuring a kid. And even me watching the bits of it, I'm like, so they're making a 13-year-old watch 2 people have, you know what, I'm sorry to be graphic. They're making a 13-year-old watch 2 people have sex. You know, while filming, there's a lot of sexual scenarios in this movie. And let me just go to the plot, okay? The plot is weird as hell. And I will say this is very heartbreaking, but I feel like the 1970s, and you'll see why. The 1970s was a year where there were so many suspicious films and even films dealing with children. I'm really beginning to think this. And European films, because a lot of the films that I'm uncovering, they're European. This one is European. It's from Czechoslovakia. So Valerie and Her Week of Wonders. I'm telling you, lots of people love this one. Lots of cinema enthusiasts. I'm a cinema enthusiast too. I love cinema. I'm still learning about a lot of it, but it's like this movie's disgusting to me. I'm not going to watch this movie and sit here and be like, it's a masterpiece. It's disgusting. It should be burnt. So, you know, that's how I feel. And you know, this is the movie that actually had me get cursed out so bad. It was a bunch of, so it basically was Europe versus America in the comment section of a cinema Instagram that I followed with millions of followers. And it was a war in the comment section over this movie. And there were a lot of people from America that were expressing that this movie is bad. Like, it's featuring a kid and like they're, you know, she's being sexualized. But you had a lot of Europeans in that. And I'm not trying to put down Europeans in general, you know, because there's amazing Europeans. There were very few, I'm sorry, but there are very, very few in the comment section. Maybe 1 or 2 people, I'm not lying. 1 or 2 people that were with the Americans saying like, no, this is not a good movie, you know. But this is for this comment section. I'm not saying that all Americans were against this movie, because there are some Americans that probably love this movie. But I was called a Puritan. I was cursed out. I was told to shut the F up. Somebody came after my hair, my wig. Like, it was a very ugly war, and all for a movie, all because we're trying to defend a child. I'm telling you, this is how serious it is. And I know there were some people that I saw with the Bob Saget thing. There were some people trying to call out that thing, what he said, and there were the same thing, people coming after these people. Celebrity worship has got to die. Celebrity and film worship. I realized that tonight reading. This is why so many people are growing tired of celebrity worship, Hollywood, but can I extend this to just film worship? Like, why do you worship a movie so much that you don't think about the safety of a child? Why do you do that? And it's crazy to me. Like, you are willing to curse me out and to say awful things to me all because I'm trying to protect a child. So let me read the plot. So it says surreal dream tale that look okay, they're not saying the full thing. There was another version of the plot that I read that I'm like, it's disgusting to me. Pretty much, it's basically exploring the awakening of this girl. Awakening. It's a what's that? It's a coming of age film, but it's all about her sexuality being explored. So she's 13. So everything that I said, and by the way, this is greenlit by an adult man because he's the director. And everything that I said just now, how is that correct? Because come out of the film world and come into the real world. Let a grown man come to normal, regular parents and say that, well, I'm doing a film about the sexual exploration of a 13, 12-year-old. Do you know what we're going to do? We're going to call the cops on you. Because why are you trying to come after my kid or our kid and say that you want her to do a movie like that? But on the exception of the film world, this stuff is okay. But in the real world, this stuff does not fly. We will call the cops on you. And there's so many films like this. Let a grown man or woman do all the things that I mentioned in Milena in real life. Oh my gosh. First, if I saw anything like that, if I knew something like that was going down, like I said, I would have made a scene. I probably would have ended up in jail or something, because it's like, you don't do that to my kid. You're not even just not, I would not let it get that far. But even the thought of that. And so people can get mad. Like the guy on Instagram, he said, I want all the smoke. Me too. I want all the smoke too. Like, if you're going to think that this stuff is okay, it's not okay. So the last video, I was crying. This video, I'm very angry and disgusted. So anyway, let's get to and then the reviews. A strange, wonderful little film. Dreams of a young girl. Brilliant fable of adolescent awakening. Not for all tastes, but beautifully filmed. What the heck does that mean? So giving it, praising it, and I'm like, this is just disgusting to me. So let's read, okay? So the contents, the explicit contents, okay? This is all happening around her. The actress. Couple make love, but not in graphic detail. The woman's breasts are shown briefly. A significantly older man marries a 13-year-old girl. He's seen aggressively kissing her neck and chest. I have to say this stuff to you guys so you can understand how bad this stuff is. He is seen aggressively kissing her neck and chest, then lying her down on a bed. Her breasts are seen briefly. I hate saying that because it's a 13-year-old. Sex is implied. This is quoted from IMDb. The camera focuses on her face as she cries, while off camera, the man remarks that there is no blood. A girl has her period on screen. Blood is seen dripping onto flowers. Valerie runs around in a white nightgown, which often falls down. That's the 13-year-old girl. I'm getting a very dark vibe. Fall down in one scene, revealing her shoulders and breasts. Ugh. A woman in a white dress lies atop a large fallen down tree, laughing and appearing to have an orgasm. This is happening around the young actress. Oh, man. A missionary tells Valerie that he once attempted to convert a girl to his faith, after which she committed sin and disappeared. Oh, okay, here. Valerie strips naked and lies down on her bed. Yes, the people that love this film, they were saying that there is nudity. You see her naked and stuff. Her bare butt and I can't read this part are briefly visible. Actress Jaroslava Shalarova was 13 when she filmed her nude scenes, but y'all want to get mad at Epstein now. With the pictures that came out with the young girl, there's a picture of a young girl and her top is pulled up and her underwear is pulled down. And there's plastic slippers by her. And she looks roughly around 11, 12, 13. One of those, probably, possibly younger, way younger from what I saw. But meanwhile, this movie was done and it's still championed in cinema circles. Look at this. A woman appears sexually interested in Valerie. That night, they lay down in bed together. They are later shown asleep with the woman's hand on Valerie's clothed breast. I can't take it anymore. I don't think I have too much energy to read the rest of this. It feels like the way my energy is like going down. It's like sinking. It's really and that grown man from Criterion. Lord. And I wrote my notes. I said, this is why Adele Hanel quit her film career. Because I'm like, Criterion. Like, do something about this. Why are you sitting here talking about it like it's good? So, but no, they're not gonna do anything. They're not. They're no, they're not. All the major platforms, cinema platforms that have this in their logs, they are not going to do nothing. And that's why people like Epstein get away. Because they see things like this and they're like, okay, yeah, they did it a long time ago. We're fine. What we did wasn't wrong. So now there are other movies on here. I'm going to read Lolita. Okay, Lolita was done here. It's American. And I'm going to get into it. As Dominic Swain was a minor at age 15 when the movie was filmed, an adult body double had to be used for most of the sex scenes. I saw the video of her doing, like they did little previews of her getting ready for Lolita. You can tell they were really sexualizing this girl. Since actress Dominic Swain was only 15 at the time of filming, a pillow had to be placed between her and Jeremy Irons' lap during all their scenes together. Melanie Griffith plays the mother of Lolita. In real life, Griffith was 14 when she fell in love with her mother's 22-year-old co-star Don Johnson, and the two pursued a relationship openly. And y'all want to get mad at the Epstein files. That's all I have to say. And there's other celebrities that did the same thing openly to you. That the people, and I'm not talking about the real ones that have been against this since the beginning. I'm talking about the ones that you're suddenly mad, but you saw all this going down and you said nothing. Whether in the industry and outside of the industry. So, according to The Telegraph, Jeremy Irons, who played seducer Humbert, vocalized how uncomfortable he was shooting sex scenes with a minor. Dominic Swain was only 14 years old. I just tried to become obsessed by her. He said, all right, I did become obsessed by her. Although audiences' mouths were left agape at the erotic scenes with a minor, it turns out the producers found a way to keep things morally correct. Per New York Daily News, a 19-year-old body double was used, so the film did not violate the Child Pornographic Prevention Act of 1996. But they were close. They were pushing it. So And to this day, Lolita, the aesthetic, is celebrated by many girls. We've seen this in films, we've seen this in music, but you want to get mad at the Epstein files. But your favorite celebrities, some of them, have championed this aesthetic. And I know some of y'all can name them. You can type it in too. Heck, let me type it in. Let's see if something comes up. If AI can really come up with something. Because I saw it on TikTok, people calling out the celebrities that did this. So, if my phone dies mid, I will do a part 2. But it might be long too, guys. Bear with me. I do not care if this is long. I could have watched 4 hours of Cat Williams talking, but what he was doing was he was exposing things. That's what I'm here to do tonight. So this is what I typed in. Celebrities often seen wearing or adopting elements of the Lolita coquette or similar childlike aesthetics include Lana Del Rey, Melanie Martinez, and Mariah Carey, who have incorporated bows, pastel. Okay, other notable examples include Lil Mama, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, and Amy Lee from Evanescence, with newer trends leaning to coquette styles. And then worn by Sydney Sweeney, Ariana Grande, and Olivia Rodrigo. Lana Del Rey, frequently associated with the coquette or nymphette aesthetic. So I've loved her music, but it's like this is why I lose faith in humanity when I see things like this. It's like, oh, and by the way, all these girls that I mentioned, they have devoted fans to them that said nothing until the Epstein files were released. So I'm really cold in this video. You want to cry, you want to get mad, you want to say you can't sleep at night because of what you're reading, but it's like, look at all of this stuff that I'm talking to you about. It was paraded to you in the public, but you didn't say anything then. So I don't want to read this. My energy is going down right now. It is just, this is why I said that, you know, when I said that the ratio of the people in the industry, it's 9:44. Wow. See, I wasn't lying. It's 9:44 right now. Before I caught it at 8:44. The ratio of people in the industry that are good versus the ratio of people in this industry that are bad. I believe it's 80 to 90% that are bad and 10 to 20% that are good. Because you don't be seeing these people, the good ones, you don't be seeing them take part in this stuff. They do not. They don't do this stuff. It's few people that are calling this out. Like, I think about Megan Fox. Megan Fox was trying to tell y'all, like, when she was 15, she was paraded around sexualized, and she was never comfortable with it. Never. Never. As a kid, she talks about this. You know, even as an actress, as a female actress, she was never comfortable with it just being about her, you know, being sexy. And she's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life, yet very outspoken. And you know what I noticed is when she started to call out certain people in the industry, her career went down and she was labeled difficult. So you saw what happened. Like, you didn't see her much after that. Like, they fired her from Transformers. So anyway, I'm trying to be strong doing this video. It's so hard to do this video because I haven't even gotten to the worst of the worst yet, but we're gonna get there. I'm gonna try and read. So The Reader, wow. So The Reader starring Kate Winslet, it has, just go to the IMDb, it has nominations and awards left to right, some including Academy and Golden Globe Awards. But let's get to the content. To avoid legal problems, the crew waited until after David Cross's 18th birthday, July 4th, 2008, to film his sex scenes. So they were waiting. Listen, I'm going to get to the more disturbing stuff. Multiple simulated sex scenes involving full frontal nudity of a boy. We see a side view of a woman's groin and full frontal male nudity of a 15-year-old character, but an 18-year-old actor in a bathing scene. However, here are a lot of rears and upper female nudity images. The sex scenes are, for the most part, played as montages, so we only catch glimpses of activity. A lot of extended scenes are before or after the fact. The guy has a relationship with another girl. We don't see much. At the movie's beginning, no, this is more nudity with Kate Winslet. Yep, the reader starring Kate Winslet and David Cross. So, and David Cross was the one that was 18 years old at the time. They were waiting for him to turn 18 because he was 17 when they got him. At the movie's beginning, the guy changes out of his clothes to take a bath. The woman looks at him when he changes. He covers his genitals, however, pubic hair is shown. He enters the bath showing butt and a flash of genitals when he turns around. The camera pans down on him taking a bath, however, his hand covers his genitals. The woman seduces a boy when she brings him a towel. Rear nudity is shown as the boy drops the towel and turns around. Both show their butts. They kiss. A brief shots of the woman and the boy having sex. Oh, Lord Jesus. The woman is riding the boy, showing her breast. Oh, my God. The woman lies down on a table and the boy has sex with her. Her breasts are shown. The extended version of this clip has the woman enter the room and sit on the table fully nude. She flashes her pubic hair and as they have sex. Oh, Jesus. That was so hard to read. It just felt like I was sinking down. Oh, Lord. In the past, when I've tried to do this, I would cry, but I've built layers of strength to be able to. I've built layers in myself. My head hurts. Reading, I'm taking the pain and the beating for you guys. I really am. If you don't want to read this stuff, you don't need to do this, but I'm reading it out to you so that you can understand why I'm so disgusted and tired of Hollywood and parts of the film industry. Starring Kate Winslet, Ralph Fiennes, Bruno Ganz. I think Ralph was in the Epstein list files or whatever. Yeah, he was named. I admired him for a long time, but the moment I saw that, I was like, I'm done. So, Academy Awards. It was nominated like 4 times at the Academy Awards and one winner for Kate Winslet. Like 4 times for the BAFTA Awards and winner Kate Winslet. Critics' Choice Awards, yep. Like nominated 2 times, one winner Kate Winslet. So many awards. So Golden Globes, 3 times, nominee, one winner Kate Winslet. I don't want to look anymore. I threw my phone, guys. I'm like, I don't want to read it anymore. And it's weird to me as a kid. I remember seeing that movie being nominated so many times in the Academies or Oscars when I was a kid, and it just didn't sit right with me. Like, I didn't have a good vibe looking at it. So let's go to so I have a whole list, like part of my notes dedicated to Brooke Shields. I don't need to get into her story. You can always look up the documentary. You'll see how sexualized she was as a child. It's really scary. You had grown men talking to her the way they did in interviews. Is very, very, very dark. I will feature that in my bio. You can look and see. But the most damning films in cinema featuring child sex situations. This is part of my notes. This is where it's going to get really dark. I wrote this. All the producers, directors, and writers involved are complicit. These films, though not popular in the mainstream, have been creating for decades a strange and damning trend that's very alive in the world of cinema today, which needs to be exterminated, the way we seek to kill out a bug or pest in our home. Corey Feldman once again wasn't lying. There's that interview he did, which I'll include, where he says that the industry is filled with, he says, somebody asked him, like, where are they? Where are the pedophiles? He says they're everywhere or whatever. They're all around. You know, doing this made me realize, getting these films made me realize that, especially since they have so many awards behind them. The material covered will be highly graphic. You will not be ready. You will also not be ready to read the shocking and complicit movie reviews glamorizing these films. Some or all of these films are blatant child pornographic films greenlit by adult writers and legalized by their production and distribution companies. Anyone that supports these films is automatically suspicious to me. No excuses at all. All these films in the real world outside of Hollywood are actual grounds for legal consequences. Yep. Bo Peer, starting with Bo Peer, nominated for a Cannes Film Festival in 1981. I will clip it. I will include the IMDb link. You can go ahead and look at the photo, the poster of Bo Peer. It is a French film. A 14-year-old girl tells an adult man she's physically attracted to him. They have a sexual relationship. Breasts and buttocks are seen occasionally. When I saw the photo, all I thought was Jeffrey Epstein. That's all I thought. I said, yep, you're going to see it too, because it's in my bio and you can go see what I'm talking about. Little Lips 2 is so shocking. The poster is so shocking. It's a little girl staring into a mirror. I'm telling you, I have a feeling that the people listening, the good ones, this stuff, it's already too much for you. But this is real. This is what went down in these films. The reason why I'm saying this is so you understand why I'm the way I am. So Little Lips was made in 1978. I think that's a French film. I don't know what country. I have no energy to really go to the IMDb, but I'll read what I got from the notes. The US video version, Little Lips, has most of Katja Berger's nude and sex scenes edited out because she was only 12 years old at the time this movie was made. This film is about a romantic relationship between the girl Eva, age 12, and the adult man Paul. Eva is frequently seen scantily dressed and sometimes nude. In one scene, she stands in a small bath washing herself completely naked while a man watches. In another, she is nude at the shore of a lake and stands facing the camera. Her whole body is exposed, but the video quality is so soft focused that I'm not going to read that part. Blank and that part, the private area, are barely discernible. There is one very short scene in which her hand reaches inside. I'm not going to read that part. I'm not going to read that part. Now, the worst of the worst. This is 1980s. It's called Tender Cousins. It's a French film. I believe it's a French film. The poster for it is too evil. I have so much evil energy. I'm feeling I'm very spiritual, and I really pick up on vibes, and it's hard to talk with the amount of evil energy that's coming from this film. And so I'll just read the plot. With Adolf Hitler threatening Europe against the backdrop of the deceptively peaceful summer of 1939, 14-year-old Julian experiences the intoxicating effects of first love, smitten with his beautiful 16-year-old cousin Julia. So several sex scenes mostly involve a male teen with young teenage girls with some visible touching of breasts, but cut short of... I can't read that part. No full frontal male nudity. No, they act like that's... When you read the parental guide, it is very shocking. Okay, I'll read some of it, and I will have to stop at some points. A young girl shown having blank with a man. At first, the man lowers the top of the girl's dress, showing her bare breast, and then he lifts her dress and pulls down her panties, revealing her private area. I'm censoring it. The man places the hem of her dress between her lips and unzips his own pants. He lifts the girl up. Oh, I can't. Oh, I can't read that. I cannot read that. I can't read that. Oh God. A maid strips completely naked and gets in bed with a boy. This is why I'm saying, you guys, this was 1980s and this movie was made. And there's people that saw this movie and they didn't say anything. So now we're here with the Epstein list. Later, and it's still there. Later, he is shown shirtless laying across her nude body, kissing her mouth. I can't read that. I cannot read that. Oh Lord. A boy and a young maid, I'm debating, but I just want y'all to understand how serious this is. A boy and a young maid hug in a barn. He unbuttons her dress front and touches her, breast. She tells him to remove her clothing. He pulls off her dress and then she removes. Okay, I'll stop. It's too evil. It's too evil. This was 1980s. And this movie, there are so many French films that they love doing this with the kids. I noticed this. Lord. I'm losing it. And it's on, I think it's on YouTube or whatever for free. I can't. And like, is anybody calling this out? The film was released in the United Kingdom as Cousins in Love. It's a French film. And the the poster. Countries, France, West Germany, language French. Directed by a man. I'm not saying that all men are evil, but just predatorial man. Oh God. Look at this. Playboy gave a positive review of the film in their July 1981 issue, saying it captures the elusive eroticism of flaring womanhood, and calling it Hamilton's most beautifully photographed film and probably the truest reflection of his inner landscape. In 2010 interview, Anjay Shrute said she did not regret acting in the film when she was 15 or briefly appearing naked in it, saying the film itself was not scandalous and was only made so by the press. I noticed this is a recurring theme for actors and actresses that are involved with films when they're kids, when they're exploited. And this is why I said Shirley Temple and others, and Natalie Portman and Adele, they are the ones that call this stuff out, but so many that just are like, oh, it was just fine. I'm fine. I had a great time. It was great. It was, she says it was not scandalous. And that's how predators continue to win, when you excuse this stuff, especially if it's done to you. When you go out there and you say this stuff is okay, victims that are actually going through that stuff, assaulted like that by adults, now they're made to look like a whole joke. Because you're fine with it, but it's never okay for an adult to touch children the way I'm reading. And it's never okay to showcase it as wonderful in a film. So, there's others on here, but I will say this. I'm going to name them. I can't read them. I lost energy tonight, guys. I'm just going to feature them in the bio. There's one called Maladolescenza. It was banned. They actually made, the kids at the time were 11. They actually had them have full on simulated, and they were fully nude. All Things Fair is pretty much the German version of The Reader, and I believe it was an Oscar-nominated film at the time. It's about a 37-year-old teacher who falls in love with her 15-year-old student. There are sex scenes. Le Font de Neige, I'm pronouncing that wrong. Made 2009. It's about a young boy that goes to a nudist camping resort. I think at one point they make the young boy touch the breasts of an older woman in this film. Then I'm going to name Gummo and Kids. A lot of people love that movie, Gummo, but it features underage actors and actresses in explicit or sexualized scenarios. Kids too. And I want to list the director's name. Yeah, he's this person. Yeah, this person, their name. So their name is Harmony Korine, the guy who directed this movie. Harmony, yeah, directed by Harmony Korine. He has a movie, so he has Gummo, which featured underaged actors and actresses in very explicit scenarios. He's an American filmmaker. Nothing has been said about Gummo. It's still celebrated and cherished by many cinema enthusiasts. And then Kids is rated NC-17, but it has children. When I went to this movie, the darkness that I felt coming from this one, it's still the same. I felt my heart drop, and it just felt like something dark had entered the room the moment I went to this movie, Kids. And I'm not joking to you. I would never lie to anybody like that. Like I said, I'm very spiritually sensitive to things. I talked about my friend at the beginning of this video. I've met people of different belief systems that are like me. But when I went to this movie, this is Kids, made 1995. The director is Larry Clark. The screenplay is Harmony Korine. I was kind of freaked out because like the way my heart felt, it felt like my heart just, like I said, it dropped and my arms started to like hurt. Even like the video, please don't play the video. Please don't. I'm on IMDb. I'm like begging it. Please don't do this. I don't think I can read. Like they said that it's hard to talk. They said that there's no nudity and stuff. The way my head feels right now, they said that there's no nudity, but like there's few. Just read the parental guide. I'll feature it. But the darkness, and all I kept thinking was but they actually use underage actresses and actors, but I kept thinking about like Euphoria. Even though they used adult actresses and actors, it was like, I feel with reading about Gummo and Kids, I feel that way with not like the strong dark vibe, but just I'm like, but they kind of do the same too, but like the actors are older. I don't know, but they're still teens, you know. Yeah, it's all about I can't talk. Just I need a break. I would just say this for the parental guide: when you go through it by yourselves, please, if it's too much for you, do stop. Especially if you are reading about the Epstein files. I think what's more disappointing is that you have people that have seen this stuff and they've not said anything. That's where I feel like I said, like, my faith in humanity kind of died a little bit tonight, because and this stuff pulls you back. Like, I've been seeing comments about people saying that the stuff that they're uncovering in the Epstein files has made them believe in God. because it's so demonic. And this stuff is the type of stuff that will pull you back to God, because it's so demonic. It's featuring kids, and we live in a world where this is a reality. Like, kids are sought after sexually, and I just went over with you this stuff. So dealing with films, and I'm at a point where it's like I don't want to work in Hollywood. Like, I'm at a point where I like literally hate Hollywood right now. And I hate parts of the film industry. I literally feel how Adele Hanel feels, and other people, of course. Like, the real ones, I know I was attacking different people in this video, but the real ones, especially the channels that have been making videos about this stuff for years. I love the one girl that I found that did a video on Lolita, and she was young, and she was exposing it. She was even talking about like Lana Del Rey, and she was young. And like the thousands of comments that were with her and agreeing, and her demographic seemed young too. The real ones that have just been against this stuff from the beginning, even the few that have been attacked in comment sections when they tried to speak up about these films, you guys, like, I hang on because of you guys. But like the rest of the world, and even the conspiracy theorists, it's like they were talking about this stuff, but they were attacked. They were made to look like they're crazy. But I don't want to work in Hollywood. I don't. From this point on, there were some projects that have been touched by Hollywood that I was going to work on, like some fan tributes. There's my Spider-Man 2099 that I wanted to do. I'm debating. There's my Matrix one. I was going to do a Matrix fan tribute. Oh, Lord. I said to myself, I'm just not going to do it. You know? Other things. And a part of me was saying, Michelle, just work on original content for your work. And I love my film platform. It's a space right now and a place to celebrate artists. Artists. All of them are like that. But artists that are unknown, not big, but they are doing breathtaking work. I've seen stuff on my feed that it surpasses Hollywood. I've seen some things that I'm like, this stuff surpasses Hollywood. The level of talent, innovation, art, like, I'm like, what? There was literally a stunt film that really, like, the cinematography and everything isn't like big budget like Hollywood films, but the stunt film itself, the fight choreography, the person who made that film, they were debuting it at a local theater where they're at. And I was saying to myself, I'm like, if it was here in Chicago, I would have gone to see it. I would have paid money to see that, because it is so incredible. Wow. Like, I'm thinking of contacting these people to feature this fight scene on my page. I saw another one that is in Hollywood. It looks big budget. It is one of the most breathtaking fight films I've ever seen in my life. And it's done by just stunt individuals and people that are in Hollywood. And I'm like, this surpasses a lot of films. There's so many stunt film fight choreographies I've seen in different films, and I'm like, it's not that great. Like, it's not that great compared to the stunt films that I found from indie filmmakers and just stunt teams in general. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people, and even like the dancers, the artists, the animations that I found. Oh my, I literally wrote to one dance company in China, and I wrote to them. I said, you're one of the best pages on Instagram that I've encountered in 2025. And they said, thank you. But the level of choreography, it Anyway, all I'm saying is I'm happy to be where I'm at. I love where I'm at. I love the chance of just being able to meet and work with good people. I've only bumped into nice people in the film scene here in Chicago. I want to stay in Chicago. But I also want to work in Britain too. I know they've got their own thing going on, but I've heard a lot of British actors are very, very nice. And I've also read a few, well, y'all heard from one, Spider-Man. But I've heard of many like him that have they tend to distance themselves from Hollywood. They tend to distance themselves from Hollywood. I've I've read things like this. And I've even read Reddit stories of people meeting up with certain British celebrities and how they were so nice. They were so kind and good. I know that's not all of them, but it's like more of them are a little bit more down to earth, it seems. But I also do want to work in Britain, in terms of filmmaking. I also love that I've seen with Masterpiece and other things that a lot of their shows aren't as explicit. There are some shows they make that, well, yeah, can be explicit. I said House of the Dragon and whatever. But it seems as if they're so good at censoring things, and I appreciate that, because sometimes I just don't want to be hit in the face with you know sex scenes that will last forever. And yeah, but I will say this, here in Chicago, the film scene's been great, so nice. I mean, obviously there's some stuff that happens here too, I've heard, but it's not as bad as in LA, which I've heard. But I'm just saying in general, for me as a filmmaker, I just like where I'm at, and I'm happy. I'm happy to just meet nice people, and I just want to make it about always protecting individuals that need help. I always want to honor the safety and the care of another person over art. And yeah, what time is it? Oh my gosh. Oh, it's 10. Okay, so I have to get ready for bed soon. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. For anyone that stayed, oh my lord, I think I ended up crashing out in some parts of this video. I'm with so much of the evil I read tonight, I'm my head. So I need to pray to the Lord. I need to just spend time with the Lord, or God, after all of this stuff. It's very unbelievable. I'm also debating on whether I want my kids there. Girl, I don't think I do. I see why some people have said child actors, be very careful. I also want to say this. I choose Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd over Chaplin any day. I'm going to say that again. I choose Buster Keaton and Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd over Chaplin any day. Because those two were not coming after young girls the way Chaplin was in his time. And this was the silent film era. And you can read up about that, because I'm not lying. It's there. And nobody said anything. Nobody has since said anything. So you're getting mad at Epstein? But Chaplin is still celebrated, despite getting, I don't know, he had a teen get pregnant. He came after teenagers. He was somebody, he got married. His last marriage was to an 18-year-old, and he was 54 years old. And I forget how old the girl was that he made pregnant. I think she was 16. Let's look it up. And I was reading about Buster Keaton. I was reading about how kind he was. and Harold Lloyd, how both were family men and they had long-term marriages. And I think it was Keaton that met his wife when she was 21 years old. So, yeah, Chaplin, let's go, because I want people to understand this. Chaplin's young. Sorry, you can see my face right now. The moment I found out about this, because I used to admire him, but the moment I found out about this, all my love for him died. All of it. I was like, I do not care. I am never supporting this person ever again. Never. But he's a very leading and iconic figure in cinema history. But let's read about the girls, and then I'll be done. Okay, my thing is taking long. Okay, look at this. So here are the girls. Let me read this. Chaplin's relationships with young women and teenage girls are well documented aspects of his personal life, okay, often causing significant scandal during his career. Wow. Okay, let's read the girls. Lita Gray, Lolita McMurray, met Chaplin at age 12, became a contract player, and was cast in The Kid. At age 16, she became pregnant, leading to a secret marriage in Mexico to avoid statutory rape charges when Chaplin was 35 years old. So she became pregnant with this child. Their marriage, lasting from 1924 to 1927, was described as volatile, with Lita alleging cruel and inhumane treatment, and that Chaplin pressured her for an abortion. Mildred Harris married Chaplin in 1918 at age 16 after a false alarm regarding pregnancy. She was an actress, and the marriage was marked by conflict, with Harris later citing mental cruelty in their 1920 divorce. That's new to me. He's been known to be cruel to his ladies, the girls. Other relationships. During his career, Chaplin was often rumored to prefer the company of young girls and starlets. His first wife, Mildred, was 16, and his second, Lita, was 16. His final wife, Una O'Neill, was 18, and when they married in 1943, he was 54. There is his great-great-granddaughter, Una Chaplin, and I know that she is years away from this. I'm not coming after her. I feel she's innocent of all of this, so I'm not hating on her, of course, and even his kids, but I don't like that man. So yeah. While Chaplin is celebrated for his immense contribution to cinema, his personal life, particularly his pursuit of young women, has been a subject of intense scrutiny, with some biographers arguing his behavior was often that of a sadistic or predatory nature. And Buster Keaton is opposite of that. I want to read, and Harold Lloyd too. Yet they're not celebrated like that in cinema history. Don't do this to me. What's wrong with you? I'm getting mad at my AI. It's acting up, so. Okay, so Buster Keaton was widely considered a kind, gentle, and remarkably resilient person in his personal life. I loved reading about how nice he was. While his on-screen persona was stoic and emotionally detached, off-screen, Keaton was known to laugh and smile often. He was described in a 1921 interview as having a gentle gloom, but a sharp sense of humor, and he was known to be a pal to his mother. I'd love to do a video on Buster Keaton. Kindness in relationships. He was known to be a supportive and loving husband, particularly in his third marriage to Eleanor, which brought stability and happiness to the latter half of his life. And most accounts, he ultimately recovered and was from alcoholism, it says here. by most accounts, a genuinely kind and humble man who held no grudges. And Harold Lloyd, last one. I hope my phone doesn't die. If it dies, I'm so sorry, guys. These were silent film individuals. Harold Lloyd too was also, I saw that he was a good guy. He was very humble. But I think I'm going to end up talking about them in another video, because I want to do a good version of cinema, and it would be regarding these two and others. But yeah, I was reading about Harold Lloyd. I'll put stuff about those two. But it's funny how Chaplin is more celebrated than the two of them. Yet these were two iconic figures in the silent film era, and those two were very good people. So anyway, guys, I have to go. This is a 2-hour video, and thank you so much for watching. Take care. Sorry it's long, but I hope it opened up your eyes. I need to go rest and pray, but thank you. Bye-bye, and take care.